Hello, every
Thursday. Welcome to Exercise with Exos. Today we are going to be doing a nice little EMOM. But before I get started with explaining everything, I want to take a second, and I know I asked this a couple months ago, but I did want to ask again what everyone's favorite exercise is to do, or even your least favorite, something maybe that you want to get better at. Just let me know what that is, and I can incorporate that into all the workouts we have coming up for Exercise with Exo. So you can go ahead and drop that in the chat, or if you need some time to think about it, you can always send me a message after class and let me know what it is, and I'll add that into our future classes. And the other ask I have for everyone today is to let me know more Thanksgiving or fall themed words, because my brain sometimes does not come up with very good ideas. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I'll happily take them. But for today, we're spelling out turkey because it is now November. So we'll be doing an EMOM, so we'll have a full minute to complete each exercise. We are going to be doing a range of reps for each exercise. So I'll kind of go cornucopia. Oh my gosh, that sounds so hard to come up with exercises for. But it's creative. I like it. Well, I'll mess around with that. Okay, so we're spelling turkey today. So we're going to start off with plank shoulder taps. So T for taps, turkey. So we're in a nice plank position, and we're going to tap each shoulder, alternating each side. We want to aim for about 12 to 15 taps per side for this one. Okay, so that's the T. And then for the U, we have sit-ups because it looks, I did sit ups, but we can do crunches more so. So we're gonna have our feet, our knees and I'm not sure, knees and our hips are at 90 degrees, hands at the temples, sitting up towards our knees. So it's more of a crunch, but how to have a U. So sit ups or crunches in that way for the U. And we're gonna do about 15 to 20 of those, depending on how quickly you make it through. And then for the R, we're gonna do RDLs. So we want to have both our feet on the ground, shoulder width apart. We're going to have a slight bend in our knee, but our knees are going to stay bent like this. We want our knees about right over the arches of our feet. We're going to push our hips back like we're closing a door. Chest is going to be down, back is nice and flat until we start to feel that pull in our hamstrings right here. And then we're going to squeeze the glutes and stand back up. And then we're going to alternate doing an RDL with a squat. So we're going to do the RDL, and then we're going to come straight down into a squat. So RDL, squeeze, squat, squeeze, okay? So we're going to goal is to get 10 of those in that minute. So 10 of each. And then for the K, we're going to do a nice squat with a kick. So we'll have our feet shoulder apart. Again, we're going to squat down, and then we're going to kick up, touch your toe, squat down, kick, touch your toe, okay? So we're getting a squat, kick, squat, kick. And the goal with that is to get between 10 to 12 reps. So we can do a squat and a kick is one. So about 10 to 12 of those. And then for the E, we're going to do eccentric push-ups. So we're going to start in that plank position here. And we're going to take 3 seconds to get down to the ground. So 1, 2, 3. And then once we reach the ground, we can get up however we need to. So going 1, 2, 3 down to the ground and getting up however you need to. So we're not pushing ourselves back up, we're just lowering. And we're going to aim again 10 to 12 of those. And then for the Y in turkey, we're going to do Ys, but we're going to be laying on our stomach. So it's prone, and prone means you're laying face down on the ground. So we're going to have our arms stretched straight out like a Y, and our heads are going to be on the ground. And we're just going to lift the arms up as high as we can and bring them back down. We want to make sure as we lift our arms, we don't want to be shrugging like a Y. We want to just raise the arms, keeping those shoulder blades pinned down and back. Okay, it's all a mouthful. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to go 3 times through that. And we're going to start off with a warm-up before we get started with that. So we're going to start in a kneeling position here. We're going to do half kneeling, half tall kneeling. We're going to have one leg up, one knee down, and we're going to do a nice hip flexor to hamstring stretch, okay? So we're going to tuck that pelvis, push hips forward, Squeezing the glute of the knee that's on the ground. We're gonna raise that arm overhead. We're gonna hold for about 3 seconds, 3 to 5, and then we're gonna now rock back into a hamstring stretch. So toes straight towards the air, leaning forward, feeling that stretch to the back of our legs. It's gonna help get everything warmed up for those RDLs. And now we're gonna switch back. So we're squeezing the glute, pushing our pelvis forward, feeling that stretch in our hip flexor in the front of our hip of the knee that's on the ground. And we're rocking back in a hamstring. So we're bringing our upper body as close to the leg as we can, toes pointed straight up. All right, one more, you guys. Forward, squeezing the glute, hip flexor, stretch, keeping that low back nice and flat, pelvis tucked. And into the hamstring for the last time on this side. And we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the other leg. So other knee on the ground, other foot on the ground, tucking our pelvis, pushing the hips forward, reaching that arm overhead. Breathing nice and deep into that front part of our leg here, opening up the hips and back into hamstring. So same thing, toes pointed in the air. Bring that chest as close to the knee as we can get it. And back to hip flexor. Make sure we're not leaning back. We want to be forward a little bit, pushing those hips forward, feeling that stretch on the inner part of that hip or the knee that's on the ground. And back into hamstring. And getting as far forward as we can here. And we're going to do one more each way. So our hip flexor, reaching up overhead, squeezing the glute, pushing our hips forward, and back down into our hamstring stretch. All right. Next up, we're just going to get our legs warmed up for all those squats we're going to be doing. So we're going to just do, we're going to go ahead and do 5 air squats. Okay, so feet shoulder width apart. And we're just gonna start squatting. So we're going down, squeezing the glutes, going nice and slow through this, really letting our hips get open at the bottom, squeezing the glutes, pushing the ground away from us. Great job, you guys. Wherever you're at, 2 more. And last one. Wonderful. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna get started, you guys. So we're gonna do our plank shoulder taps are first. 12 to 15 on each side. You have a full minute to complete. And I'm going to start the timer. So we're on the ground in our plank position, getting ready to go in 3, 2, 1, and go. We are in the tall plank position. Tapping each shoulder 12 to 15 times. Want to make sure that our hips are staying nice and steady here. So keeping that core tight, low back nice and flat. And we're replacing our hands directly where we found them. So we want them to be under our shoulders to help protect our shoulder joints. Keeping our low back nice and flat here, but not forgetting to breathe. 12 to 15 taps on each side. All right, we got about 20 more seconds left. And up next, after we're done with our plank taps, we are going to be doing our sit-ups / crunches. We're doing anywhere from 15 to 20 of those, however many you can get. And we're gonna get ready on the ground, going in 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're doing sit-ups here or crunches, whatever you are feeling like doing today. I want to make sure that we exhale as we come up, keeping our low back on the ground, not using our arms to help us up, just using our core here. Great job, everyone. Ooh, we did a lot of abs this morning in class, so this is a little tough. If you guys didn't see, we did add a couple new classes. I know Louise had a nice core and abs class on Tuesday. We did total body strength this morning. All right, you guys, we got about 10 seconds left, and then we're doing RDLs to squats. And don't forget, you guys, let me know what your favorite exercises are at any point in time. All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. We're doing an RDL, squeezing the glutes, and then a squat. We're trying to do 10 of each, you guys. Really important here to make sure that we are not bending the knees during our RDLs. We're just moving the hips we're just moving the glutes at the hips. We want to make sure that when we squat down is when we're using that knee bend here. So knees are staying directly above the arches of our foot in our RDL. But then in the squat, we're letting those knees track past the second toe here. Squeezing the glutes in both of these movements. We're doing 10 of each. If you want to do more, feel free. Goal is 10. We got 10 more seconds. And we're getting ready for our squat to kick here. 3, 2, 1, and go. So more squats. We're going to squat down, kick up that toe. We're aiming to get 10 to 12, 15 if you're an overachiever here, but we're only counting squats. The kicks will do 10 total. So we want 10 to 12 total squats, which will mean 5 to 6 kicks on each side. Whatever helps you count those out today. We want to make sure we're using our core to kick up our legs. We want to make sure we're not pulling our legs up. Using those hip flexors, those are going to get pretty tired pretty quickly. All right, we got 20 more seconds of that, and then we're getting ready for our eccentric push-ups. Great job, you guys. 10 more seconds, and then we're doing 10 to 12 push-ups. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're just lowering ourselves here, getting back up however we need to. We want to make sure we're going nice and slow, and we want our legs and our chest to touch the ground at the same time. Whew. I'm like, we're running out of breath here. Great job, you guys. Again, go nice and slow, hands directly below the shoulders. We're controlling the movement with our chest here. We want to make sure that we're also keeping our neck in line with the rest of our spine. So we don't want to be looking down. We don't want to be looking up. We want to be looking straight in front of us. Great job, you guys. 10 more seconds. And then we got our laying down on our pace, aka prone wise. Going in 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys, 12 to 15 of these. And remember, we're just moving our arms with the backs of our shoulders. So we want to make sure that we're not shrugging up. We want our shoulders away from our ears. And it helps a lot if you do keep your forehead or cheek on the ground. It's a little bit difficult because we want to make sure that our neck is in one straight line. So if we're using our chin, then it's going to bring our spine out of alignment. But the Y's are really good for improving our rear delts, which is going to help a lot with posture since we sit down the majority of the day. All right, you guys, we got 5 seconds. Getting ready for plank shoulder taps. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we got 12 to 15 on each side, which is going to be between 24 and 30 if you tend to count each side separately. Want to make sure butts are down, spine is in one straight line. Keeping our core tight so our pelvis can be tucked. We want to pretend like we got those headlights on our hips. We're blinding the ground here. Great job, you guys. We got about 25 seconds left of those, and then we're doing our sit-ups or crunches for the U in turkey. Don't forget to know your call.
Had to do modified, sorry. I'm too big to lift myself off the ground now.
That's okay. If you need to do it from your knees, that's totally okay. 3, 2, 1. We're doing our crunches, you guys. 15 to 20 of these sit-ups. We'll call them crunch ups, so that way we can still have the U be a valid letter here. So we want our knees and hips at 90 degrees, using our core, not momentum here. Exhaling as we crunch up. Also, shout out to Jet real quick. She was in class earlier today. It's 2 classes for her. Great job. Props to you. Snaps for Jet, everyone. Great job, you guys. We got about 20 more seconds. Doing 15 to 20 crunch ups. And then we're moving on to our RDL and squat. Doing 10 of each of those. Great job, you guys. 3, 2, 1. So we're doing an RDL, pushing those hips back, squeezing the glute, and then right into our squat. We're squeezing our glutes. I want to make sure our spine is all aligned here. So keeping those shoulder blades pinned down and back. So if you want to pretend like you got an egg, you want to crack right between those shoulder blades to keep everything nice and tight in our upper back. Keeping that core engaged to keep our low back in line. So if we need help keeping that core engaged, pretend like you got that apple sitting on your stomach and you're crushing it. Will help keep your spine in line. We got 15 more seconds, and then we're doing our squats to kicks. Doing 10 to 12 of those. Remember, we're only counting the squats. The kicks are per leg. 3, 2, 1, and go. We're only counting our squats to 10. So our kicks are going to be about 5 to 6 on each side. Keeping that core tight. Still squeezing that apple right here so we can kick up using our core instead of those hip flexors. Mine keep popping though every time I kick up. All right, you guys, we got about 30 more seconds of this. And then we're going to our eccentric push-ups. Great job, you guys. Make sure we're squatting down and getting our butt nice and low. Squeezing the glutes, keeping that core tight. We got eccentric push-ups coming up in about 10 seconds. So we're just lowering ourselves for the push-ups. And we are going in 3, 2, 1. So we're starting up in that high plank, lowering ourselves ever so slightly onto the ground, making sure our chest and our legs touch the ground at the same time. We're doing 10 to 12 of these, you guys. Wonderful, great job. Make sure we don't forget to breathe here. Getting up however we need to. Great job, you guys. We got about 20 more seconds. And then we're laying on the ground, face down, in that prone position for our Ys. Using our upper back for those. Offset all that sitting we do during the day. All right, laying down 3, 2, 1. We're doing our Ys. Keeping that forehead on the ground will help us. We want to isolate. Just use our shoulders here. Keep those shoulder blades pulled down and back by cracking that egg in between your shoulders. Doing 12 to 15 of these, you guys. Really help strengthening our upper back to help, again, with that posture. Great job, you guys. We got about 20 more seconds. We're going to go one more time through. We're spell turkey one more time, getting in that Thanksgiving mood. We got 3 weeks till the big turkey day. Starting off with our plank taps in 3, 2, 1. So we're still on the ground. Hands are directly below our shoulders. Tapping each side 12 to 15 times. So 24 to 30 times if you count your shoulders separately. Want to make sure we're trying to mitigate that movement of the hips. You need to take a few seconds, but we're aiming to get 12 to 15 each side, keeping those hips pointed down. And if you need to go for your knees, that's okay. It's just like with push-ups here. We want to make sure if we're at the knees, our knees to our shoulders are nice and straight. All right, you guys, we got 15 more seconds of that, and then we're doing our crunch ups. We're doing 15 to 20 of those. Oops. And we're going in 3, 2, 1. 90-degree angles in the what are they called? Hips, in the knees. Exhaling to bring our upper body closer. We want to keep those hands at the temples here so that we are not using our momentum to crunch up. We want to keep that low back plastered on the ground still, so that will help keep our core engaged by tucking that pelvis, crushing that apple with your stomach here, really engaging that core. We got about 20 more seconds. We're doing 15 to 20 crunches, you guys, and then we'll be moving on to our RDLs and squats. We got 10 seconds to go, and then we'll do RDL and squat. 10 of each. 3, 2, 1, and we're going. So we're RDL and then squat. So we're still crushing that apple with our core to keep our low back nice and tight. We are cracking the egg with our shoulder blades, keeping our whole back nice and flat, pushing the ground away from us, heel, big toe, little toe, squeezing those glutes. Great job, you guys. Make sure we're keeping our heel, big toe, little toe on the ground for both of these movements. We're doing awesome. Got about 20 more seconds, and then we're going to squat to kick. Doing 10 of each, and then we'll do also 10 to 12 squats, kicks. You guys are doing awesome. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're gonna squat and kick. Great job, you guys. After this, we'll only have 2 more exercises, and then we'll do our nice cool down. Still keeping that apple crushed with our core, using our core to bring our legs up. Exhaling as we bring the leg up for that kick, really keeping that core engaged. And we're pushing the ground away from us. Heel, big toe, little toe in that squat. Great job, you guys. We're doing 10 to 12 squats. We got 20 more seconds, and then we're moving into our eccentric push-ups. So we'll be on the ground for the next thing. We got 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Doing 10 to 12 slow push-ups, eccentric for the E of turkey. Getting up however we need to. Keeping those hands directly below the shoulders. Elbows as close to your body as we can get them, protecting those shoulder joints. Great job, you guys. Making sure our chest and our legs are touching the ground at the same time. Great job. We got about 20 seconds, and then we're doing our Ys, and then we're doing our cool down. Great job, everyone. Keep pushing yourselves. 10 to 12 of those. We got 10 more seconds, then we're doing 12 to 15 Ys. And then we're cooling down. 3, 2, 1. So we're laying on the ground. Forehead or cheek on the ground here. Keeping those shoulder blades pinned down and back, so we're squeezing the backs of our shoulders to lift our arms up, keeping them in that wide position. Great job, you guys. Doing 12 to 15. Keeping our shoulders away from our ears. We got 20 more seconds, a little bit less. We got about 15 now. And then we'll do our cool down. So if you need to get water, if you're already done, go ahead and get some water. Take a couple steps, walk it off. And we're gonna be done in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, awesome job, you guys. That was our first turkey themed workout. Great job. Get some water if you need it. And when you're ready, we'll start our cool down. We're gonna be on our hands and our knees for this, you guys. So we'll make our way back to the ground when we're ready. And we're gonna start off with some quadruped rocking. But we are going to do our nice adductor stretch with it. So we're stretching our inner thigh by putting one leg out to the side like a kickstand. So we wanna make sure our hips are nice and level, so our foot should be out far enough for that. Heel, big toe, little toe on the ground, and then we'll rock back. Touch our heels to our glutes, squeeze, and come back up. So we wanna make sure our low back is nice and flat by keeping that pelvis tucked and our core engaged. And we should feel that stretch in the inner thigh of the leg that is stretched out to the side. I'm going to hold at the bottom for a few seconds before coming back up. And wherever we're at, we're just going to do one more here. And when we finish that last rep, we're going to switch to the other side. So now the other leg is straight out to the side like a kickstand. And we're going to keep our heel, big toe, little toe on the ground to get the most out of that stretch on the inner thigh. Squeeze the glute and come back up. Make sure we're not forgetting to breathe here. And wherever we're at, we're going to go ahead and do one more. Wonderful. For the last portion of our cool down, we're going to do some nice child's pose to really slow our breathing down. So you can keep your knees directly under the hips, or you can take them as wide as you feel comfortable. And we're going to walk our hands forward and sink our hips towards the glutes. And by glutes, I mean heels towards the glutes. Goodness. And from here, we want to really get some nice, big, deep belly breath through the nose and exhale nice and slowly through the mouth, really calming down here. Each exhale, feel your shoulders get a little heavier. Your hips are getting a little heavier, really sinking into the pose with each exhale. Feeling the stress leave your body. Feeling your heart rate slow down enough so we'll be able to eat after we are done here. And let's do one more big inhale. And a nice, really long, slow exhale. And we're going to slowly come up. Make our way to seated or standing. Or you can keep staying in child's pose. And that will conclude today's exercise with Exos. Thank you all so much for coming. I love to see you all in here. Again, shout out to Jet and Joan. They came to my class this morning, so they got 2 workouts today.
Jet.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. Great job, you guys. And thank you, Louise, for putting the workout in the chat box. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier that was there, but thank you again, Louise, for doing that. Thank you all for coming. Great job today. Don't forget, we do have a stretch break today at 2:30 with Louise. We do also have another stretch break. Nope, no more. Sorry, that's the last for the week. I thought today was Wednesday for a second. Sorry about that. We do also have a form up on SharePoint. So if you want to have a private stretch break with your team or a group exercise class with your team, let us know. Fill that form out on SharePoint, and we will take care of that for you. But I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thank you all for coming. Great job today.